G'day everyone,
Hey,
welcome to Roo Hammer, episode 35. 35, there we go. How you going, mate?
35 or
34, is it?
I'm good,
Sorry.
mate. Yeah, I think it's episode 34. I don't know. Lost count, mate. It's done so many of them.
That's it, old hat now. Can I just say you're looking very nice and clean in what looks to be a nice brand new white away jersey there.
I got this today, mate. It arrived in the mail today, my away 2021 away jersey.
Looking very sharp.
Although I am thinking that sharp. Sitting here in my COVID lockdown in Sydney. It's 7 weeks since I've had a shave and a haircut. I'm starting to think that if I borrowed one of Carl's Tigers jerseys, I could pass as James Tarmo and could probably go and stay inside the bubble in the NRL bubble in Queensland.
I thought you were going to say you're going to audition for the sequel to Castaway or something like that.
No, mate, no. Just James Tarmo. I could be James Tarmo.
Just James Tarmo.
Something
Yeah,
like
we'll stick with that. G'day to everyone watching. Thanks, all you guys on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Great to have you along as always.
TK, Shawnee James, Ciala's joined us. Christian's in. Warren Rafferty's in. So, yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks
for joining us.
Happy hump day. Happy hump day indeed.
Happy hump day. Yes. Yeah, mate. You guys out of lockdown now?
We are. So we got out of lockdown last Sunday. So the numbers were under control. There were still a few cases, but they were all able to be traced. So we're out of lockdown, still under fairly strict restrictions. But yeah, able to go out and about, which is great. And crowds back at the footy this weekend as well.
Yeah. I spoke to Jazz yesterday. Just talking about the NRL bubble, how it's affecting them, what their lockdowns are. He said he thinks they're in level 3. He's not real sure. He said, look, we can go out. We just can't go to restaurants and bars and stuff like that. But he said we can go out and, use the beach and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lot less lax up there now. But he did say that they're pretty much there till the end of the year. So, and he used the word end of the year, not end of the season. Yeah, so as I said to him, I said, mate, single guy like you, springtime and first couple of months of summer, it's not a bad place to be staying, that's for sure.
That's it. As we said to him when he was on the show, you should hit up Connie Hurrell and find out about all the top joints to visit there while he's on the glitter strip.
Yeah. Cheer the boys, is this your last podcast on Facebook? No?
No, I don't believe so.
Why would it be? What have you heard? Are we getting cancelled? What's going on?
Oh, no. G'day, Glenn Harris.
How are you, mate? Yeah, speaking of Glenn Harris, I do have to give a massive shout out to Glenn Harris and Cameron George and Tim Cousins from the Vodafone Warriors. Over the weekend, it was brought to my attention that there's a young Warriors fan who was doing it tough. Christian from Warriors NRL Fanatics shared a Twitter post on his Facebook account from the brother of Cooper Winklebauer, Kyle Hewson. Now, Christian put me in touch with Kyle directly, and I found out that Cooper had been diagnosed with tumours on his brain. And to compound things, he found this out on Sunday, which was his birthday. So, I got in touch with the Warriors through Glenn and Cameron George. And they went into overdrive, getting some of the boys to record a bit of a birthday message for Cooper, which they sent to me, and then I passed on to Kyle. It was great work from the Warriors, great work from the Warriors fans, communities who all came together to make something happen so quickly for a young fan doing it tough. I'm grateful to all involved, especially Christian. Massive shout out to you, mate, and in particular Cam and Glenn and Tim at the Warriors. We're thankful that, our small connection with the Warriors organisation and the club could make this happen for Cooper. And, yeah, we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're all a community and a family here at the Warriors. And, yes, mate, that's wonderful that things came together so quickly, and obviously echo your thoughts and praise for all those involved. And, we'll keep in touch with Kyle and Cooper and stay updated on the situation. And we ask that, you guys keep Cooper in your thoughts and prayers as well.
Yeah, it was really
so
good,
all
mate.
the best.
They managed to get hold of initially it was CHT and Bailey Sirinen. And without even realising it, CHT is actually Cooper's favourite player. He did a one-on-one interview or type of a fan thing with him at some time ago. He won a competition. So he was really stoked that it was CHT that did a shout-out. And I've also reached out to Jazz, and Jazz is going to try and organise a couple of the other boys to do a bit of a shout-out and birthday message to him. But, yeah, it's just it's great to see, and it's stuff that needs to be acknowledged because, you know, the Warriors go above and beyond on so many things within the community and the public, and that never gets the recognition, and to be able to be a little bit a part of that a little bit and be able to facilitate between two parties and get something done was great. So yeah, we really appreciate it, Glenn.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful gesture from the club. Yeah. Thanks to everyone involved again. Yeah. Well, mate, we do have a lot of stuff to get through tonight. So we'll dive straight into it. And, mate, how good is it to be doing this after another win?
Glenn Harris, I'm not crying, you are. Love you, buddy, and miss you. I miss you, bud. I really do.
Champion, Glenn.
Yes, mate. It's always great to be able to talk about a Warriors win. Always great.
First back-to-back win of the season. So how good is that? Obviously, at the Seabus Super Stadium on Saturday afternoon, Warriors 18 over the Sharks 16. Yep. The Warriors try scorers DWZ, Aitken and Walshy got the tries. Walshy kicked 3 from 4, including the go-ahead penalty late in the piece for the Sharks. Tracy, Nakora, Kennedy, and Trindle 2 from 3 from the boot.
Yep.
The start, the Warriors with an error on tackle 2 with Matt Lodge losing the ball in the ruck. Lodge with an extremely risky captain's challenge early in the contest. But he got up confident, and I know that usually doesn't mean much. You know what our mate Brandy Alexander always says about referee challenges with front rowers and wingers, isn't it? So, luckily for us, the replay confirmed that there was Sharks interference with the ball in the ruck. A successful captain's challenge. We don't get too many of those. Absolute rarity for us.
Yep.
Yeah. And we were able to get deep into the Sharks half, and we played a good brand of up-tempo footy in the first set, and CHT finishes off with a nice kick, and Petahiku on the chase forcing a goal-line dropout for an excellent start.
Yeah, mate, yeah. We had some really good movement of the ball in the subsequent sets too. And got the ball wide to DWZ to score in the corner. It was a nice in and away to put Prejack on his back feet a little bit.
It was brilliant, speed for you. Yeah.
And then great use of footwork to get on the outside and then just burn Prejack with sheer speed to the line. And then the chosen one, Reece Walsh, with a sideline conversion for a Warriors 6-0 lead. And our set after points it was another good set with an early shift to the left and Ewan Aitken with an early line break. Which is continuing his good form from last week, I thought. It looks like he's really found a home as an edge-back rower now. And the Warriors' first offensive set was a positive sign too. It showed that the boys were really up for the game because the Sharks couldn't get out of their half and they had to make a kick from deep within their own half, really, to get down the Warriors' end of the field.
Yeah, that's it. And we continue to use the ball, and our big men, Lodgy and AFB, making great meters at will, particularly straight up the middle, and we were really winning that battle in the middle of the park. And Hectic Montoya with a great bomb disposal and then some good meters to start the set. He's honestly been one of our most consistent performers this season, a real surprise packet, as we've touched on in weeks before. Like we probably weren't expecting too much from him, thinking he was going to be a bit of a stopgap player, but mate, he's been fantastic.
He has.
Yeah, the game smarts of Petahiku as well. Like, how valuable is it to have someone of his experience and quality coming back in for this late charge? It was on show with his footwork, his ball skills, putting Walshy through a hole for another line break. And again, my mate, Prejack, with a dropped kick at the end of the set. And Vili Valea jumps on to the loose ball to score what we thought he'd scored, but unfortunately, but expectedly, Chicken Legs Chechen sent it up to have a look, and the bunker awards a penalty to Sharks, claiming that Josh Curran had hands on the player in the air, which would have been which was, to be the first of many tough calls that we were going to cop that game. So, yes, sign of the times.
Yeah, mate. And then to compound that penalty even more, we gave the Sharks a piggyback penalty, which puts them well and truly on the attack. But as guys are mentioning in the thing, the absence of Sean Johnson was really noticeable in the Sharks' play because their sets lacked any real creativity at that point. The Warriors earned a penalty for a high tackle and a good kick into touch, put us back inside the Sharks' half. AFB, some great meters up the middle, got a quick play of the ball, got the Warriors in great position to close to the Sharks' line. But the CHT grubber is a little bit too big, and the Sharks get a 7-tackle set. Yeah. And then the Warriors had numbers to the left and then probably should have kept the ball in hand at that point. I think CHT, with his first game back in a few weeks, can probably be excused for his vision being a little bit off in a big attacking moment and letting things get to his head. But it was good signs. It showed good signs that we're up for the challenge of the day.
Well, that's it. And we continue to defend really well, particularly on our goal line, and the defence held really strong, and it was really starting to, I think, frustrate the Sharks a bit, and they were looking to try and wrestle the momentum back from us, that key momentum shift. And a few times they tried to milk ruck penalties or repeat sets, but Chechen was wise to their antics in calling them out for the milking. And the Sharks, desperate to retain possession and build the pressure, they really just blow their captain's challenge. There's no other way of saying that. Midway through the first half on a drop ball, it was absolutely ridiculous, to be honest. And we were saying at the time when doing the live chat, that could prove to be crucial at the back end of the game when it's handy to have one of those just to test it. And we continued to trouble them with our ball movement. Like this was really encouraging signs early. And Reece Walsh with a bit too much on a kick, and DWZ desperate to dive in the corner. There wasn't much in this, and it was the right idea, just execution just a little bit off there. But it's great to see that vision coming out. Yeah.
He identified that there was space in behind the wingers and got the kick in, and it was interesting. Yeah, it was just a little bit less on that kick, and it would have been points for the Warriors. But again, all positive vision. Signs. Yeah, all positive signs. The Sharks went 100 metres, get a forced dropout, and then Connie Hurrell lookalike Talakai scores a soft try under the post. But fortunately, a bunker review showed that was impeded by Jack Williams in his attempt to get to Talakai, and the try is disallowed. CHT's confidence, I thought, was building as the game went on. He was really ending our sets well with a well-balanced kicking game, and particularly in that first half, utilising the sun that was in Sione Katoa's eyes to continually put the ball into that corner up high. And the Warriors continued using the ball really well, making plenty of meters in their sets with their offloads and second phase play working extremely well. And it also looked like they were playing with a lot more patience too, looking to build pressure rather than the frantic score every set mentality that we kind of get known for. Yeah,
that's right. And we were showing, as you said, more patience, and we forced another goal line dropout there with a great kick from Walshy. But unfortunately, the Sharks got the possession back from a short restart. And they make a break downfield, down the blind side, and Kennedy finding space and put Tracy away to score. And DWZ with a bit of a poor read there, rushing in on Chambers and created the space out wide. And then the Sharks with a good set after points, playing with some confidence, but they spoil a scoring opportunity with a drop ball on the last tackle with Katoa and a scoring opportunity. Sione Katoa out on the wing there. The pass just didn't find the mark. Then Kane Evans with a dropped ball trying to offload. And his head slammed and tackled from the absolute mega grub, Will Chambers. Evans gets up and there's, some words exchanged, and the mega grub unloads a relentless verbal spray on Evans. And you have to imagine that the spray would have something to do with wristgate. And, it must be something...
His recent origami lesson or something, I
mean, he's origami Evans for a reason about folding, And whatever it was, it really hit a nerve with Kano, and he unleashed with two of the softest punches in NRL history, it must be said, which resulted in him getting sent to the sin bin. So you can't describe that as anything else other than a meltdown from Kano, a brain explosion, whatever you want to call it.
Very poor self-discipline from Evans.
Yeah.
And the brain explosion put the Warriors under immense pressure to defend their line in the final 5 minutes of the first half. But Chambers getting off scot-free for that head slam is just another poor refereeing decision against the Warriors from checking, because that was the whole catalyst of it. Of Chambers head slammed Evans. Evans jumped up, took offence to the head slam. There was a bit of push and shove, and then Chambers unleashed with his spray. It's Evans probably not best man with a chirp. Coming up against the world champion or someone who's definitely in the grand final of sledging. His only thing was to resort to punching. Now, it's something we'll talk about next week instead of rants. But it's Paul Kent made good points about why something has to happen in regards to changing, because apparently Chambers was quite verbal about and got quite personal with his verbal barrage. Now there's sledging, and then there's taking it too far, and when guys take it too far,
and things,
exactly. But when they take it too far, the player getting done has got no recourse, no way of fighting back. So it was a really poor decision by Checken, I thought, to overlook the head slam. It was great defense from the Warriors, looking like they weathered that storm, with the Sharks putting a kick in that went dead. But Josh Curran's penalised for a late hit on Blake Brayley, which was borderline, if any. It was. I mean, you slow it down and anything looks bad.
I was just going to say, you slow it right down. You got to look at it real time. I mean, there wasn't too much in it, and then they're constantly watching the replay in super slow motion. I mean, it makes it look much worse.
Yeah, exactly. And so there was another contentious call. Sharks with a penalty. They get a set on our line, and Sharks score via Britton Nakora. And then they go coast to coast with the lengths of the field, try to Kennedy to finish off the half. It was a nice little Frank the Tank post-try celebration afterwards, in homage to Will Ferrell in Old School. But that Evans brain snap had pretty much undone all the good work that the Warriors had done. And we go in where we probably should have been 6-6 at halftime. We go in 16-6 down at halftime. And our back are against the wall.
Oh, yeah, it was just demoralising. It's like, as you said, all down the drain thanks to that 10 minutes of madness. So we started that second half still with a man down, with Evans still with about 4 minutes of that second half to play from the bin. And we needed to be the first to score in that half. And the Sharks had some good early pressure, and they forced another dropout. And the Warriors do well to defend our line once again. So with Evans back on the field, no sooner back on the field than he's put on report for a cannonball on my mate, the pre-jack. Yep. And luckily the Sharks commit probably one of the biggest cardinal sins in rugby league, and that's failing to find touch from a penalty. And that puts us right back on the attack. And Viliami Valia with 2 big carries in the set. And he was looking really dangerous on that right edge there. He's someone we really need to get good early ball to really utilise his size and speed. And Walshy goes very close to scoring off a kick, but then it gives away a 7-tackle set. I mean, it was one of those ones where you probably had to go for it. It was very close to the dead ball line. And, you can't blame him for having a try. But then on the other side of the coin, it's compounded by giving away a 7-tackle set as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Virtually millimetres away from grounding that ball, though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was a close one. It's another one. As you said, it's one of those should I, shouldn't I kind of scenarios. Luckily, it worked in our favour. The Warriors have a good set next up, shifting the ball with Walsh going close again, and then some great ball movement a few plays later. Walsh is the recipient of a sublime Josh Curran offload to score untouched. The conversion gets us back within 4 points. Kane Evans having an absolute shocker. He has a loose carry, the set after points, and Will Chambers again just gets stuck into him. CHT, though, gets a good one-on-one strip to get the ball back for the Warriors.
Yeah, big play. Then, very big
play. Yeah. And then AFB with a nice offload to Walsh in the middle finds Hiku in support. He runs about 40 metres, gets tackled on the Sharks 20, and then a shift to the right finds the ball in Ewan Aitken's hand. Him with a strong run, muscles his way out of tackles from Chambers and Tracy to score on the right edge. Walsh misses the conversion. The scores are tied at 16 apiece.
Yeah, that's right. But then we knew it was going to happen at some point. It's another set after points that we failed to complete. Walsh with a bit of a loose carry there, and it really is. We say it every week, but it's a critical part of our game that really needs work. I mean, it's one of those key contributing factors to these momentum switches as well that we're constantly referring to. So our mate Origami is put on report again for a head slam on Will Chambers and sent for another 10 minutes in the bin. And we're all just like absolutely face palming here. So we've done all the hard work to get back into the game. And like this is with 15 minutes to go. It's like of all the times to get sin binned in an absolute, a really close game like this, the Sharks now with the momentum, that gives them the momentum right back off the poor discipline from old Origami there. And the Warriors, we're absolutely under the pump, but we survived the Sharks' onslaught with, again, some solid defence, which is great to see. And a great midfield run from Walsh combining with Curran. Aren't they a great pair in attack? They're looming as a key combination.
Yep.
And we get a penalty for a crusher tackle on Curran right in front of the sticks. And Walshy takes the penalty kick and takes some time off the clock, crucially. I remember we were saying when we watched it, how much time can he waste here? It was like, 2 minutes? It took 2 minutes off the clock. Anyway, but it gave the boys a bit of a breather as well. And he takes the penalty and puts us up by 2. And crucially, 18-16. And then inside 12 minutes, and the nerves like really start to kick in. We were saying this, like this is the Warriors game day experience. This is it.
Yep.
The last 10 minutes, how many times have we all been here, sitting there with a 2-point lead, 10 minutes to go?
Yeah, it's that roller coaster of anxiety that we all ride as Warriors supporters, isn't it? It's mate. Mark Roberts has just come up with another classic nickname to add to the list. He's come up with Thunderbird. Connor Tracy would be Thunderbird, one of the Tracy sons from the Thunderbird series. I like it.
Oh, okay. Thunderbird. I was going to say, is he a little bit like marionette-like in the way he plays?
Well, no, I think it's just the surname because their surname is Tracy.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. It's been a long time since I watched the Thunderbirds. Yeah, nice one, Mark.
I think all of it. Yeah. Finally, we complete a set after points and a good CHT kick to end the set. Just some really smart play from CHT, slowing things down. Sharks with a soft penalty from Matt Checken. CHT tackle on Trindle, the kicker. It's a ridiculously soft penalty. The Sharks, though, opt not to take the 2 points to level the scores. Obviously thinking that they had the momentum. Yeah, or they were on the verge of points. It was a crucial decision that came back to,
all or nothing. Yeah.
They go on the attack, but their young and inexperienced halves play impatient footy, and they put in an early kick on, I think it was like the third or fourth tackle.
Yeah, they got a restart. It was like the second tackle on a restart or something. It's crazy.
And Curran just diffuses that ball. And the lost opportunity to draw that game at that point will be their undoing in the end.
Yeah, 100%. Another incident that I was a little bit disappointed with was we were penalised right on full time for deliberate time wasting. I'm disappointed in the sense that we gave them one last shot. We gave them one last sniff. You can read whatever you like into the deliberate penalty. Well, that was the reasoning, wasn't it? Like slowing down the game. But if we just get off the tackle, let them play. Like they were what, 30, 40 meters out from their line at that point?
Yeah.
And then the game's effectively over. But instead, they got to kick for touch and gave them the very realistic option of attempting a 2-point field goal.
Yep.
Ultimately, the kick does fall short, though, and we hold on for a great come from behind win, like second week in a row, coming back from 10-point halftime deficit. And I've got to say, I really loved and was encouraged by the style of footy that we played this week. It was creative, and it gave the defence a run around and created a lot of opportunities. We probably could have iced a few more of them, but that will come with. As we said, we've lacked a little bit of cohesion with our lineups.
Yep.
So that will come. The combinations will build, like we're seeing with Curran and Walshy.
Yeah.
2 wins in a row for the first time in the season, and we are 2 points adrift of Cronulla and the Dragons. And we're still a mathematical chance of making the finals, which we'll go into a little bit later on.
Yeah, mate, it was a gritty win. Really gritty performance from the Warriors, especially playing 20 minutes with only 12 men on the field. That's a quarter of a game of footy, which is exactly. a long. For those of you who have played footy, you know how long 20 minutes is in a game of footy. So for us to hang on, I mean, I know we dropped points in 5 minutes of that in the back end of that first half, but to hold on for the other 15 minutes where we played a man down and not allow the Sharks to score any points is testament to, the hard work that the boys have been putting in off the field in their defensive structures. A couple of standout performances. Curran, 156 running meters, 1 try assist, 5 breaks, 2 line break assists. Ewan Aitken, 134 running meters, 1 try, 4 tackle breaks, 1 line break. And Adam Fanua-Blake as captain, 227 running meters, 95 post-contact meters, 1 line break. Absolutely outstanding from these guys. And we had a lot of other standouts like DWZ with his carries and Marcelo Montoya as well with his carries. It's got to go down as probably one of Matt Checkin's worst refereeing performances, though, worse than any Henry Perenara performance in the past. There was a shoulder charge by Talakai that wasn't penalised on Dallin. Got some more carriages on order for the bandwagon, lads. Let's go. There was a head slam on Kane Evans that wasn't penalised. There was a shoulder charge on Montoya late in the game that wasn't penalised. The current late hit penalty and the CHT penalty on Trindle, extremely soft penalties in favour of the Sharks. And then there was the Chambers throwing of the boot. Now, I can remember last year, Jack Murchie got penalised for tossing the boot about 5 metres away from the play the ball. Will Chambers ran to the sideline and threw Vallea's boot rose into the grandstand, and nothing happened. So, it was a ridiculous set of circumstances in regards to the inconsistency of the referee. And luckily, this week our boys showed so much character to not only stay in the game, but to come from behind and win that game. So very proud day as a Warriors supporter on Saturday. It was a really, really good win by the club, and as you said, keeps us in that mathematical race for a semi-final berth, which we'll talk about when we talk about everyone's run home a little bit later. But amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just touching back on some of those contentious refereeing decisions and the fact that we were able to get away with the wins, just to add insult to injury to those refereeing mishaps, we got some judiciary news coming out of the game, and that was Matt Lodge, 2 weeks out for a careless high tackle charge. So he had carryover points, hence the 2 weeks. Kane Evans, 1 week out for a contrary conduct charge, and also a $1,350 fine.
Yep.
And DWZ facing 1 week out for contrary conduct, but he was contesting the charge, but I think he was unsuccessful, so he will not be playing this weekend, unfortunately.
Correct. Yeah, that is correct. Mate. Couple of big outs coming up this week, which we'll talk about. Did you enjoy having 3 different stream timings on the watch party? Shut up, Mark Roberts. It was
there's always one that's ahead. So we're like looking to that person. So it was Christian this week, and we're going by his reactions, and it's like, oh, we just can't sync this. We're having a bit of trouble. You got KO, you got Foxtel, you got
Yeah, we were synced up this week. Rob and I were synced up. Christian was on Foxtel. We were watching on KO, so he was a little bit ahead of us. But it was great to have Christian on board.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's good that even if we can't be there physically in person to watch the team and support the team, it's great that we can have these little watch parties live and have people join us while we all kind of come together and watch the boys play, similar to how we would on game day.
Bit of community feel to it, a bit of game day experience. It's good fun.
Absolutely,
some great banter. We love all you guys joining in, so it's always great fun. Yeah,
you let the boys know that we're doing this, Glenn. It's a bit of fun. They can go back and maybe watch them on YouTube or Facebook and see the reactions we have during a game. It's it's a bit fun.
Origami might not want to watch last week's one though.
No, we did get a bit scathing on Kano at the time, but it's we've had a little bit of time to settle down and go back and watch some of the replays and
it's all authentic live reaction, so that's a genuine live reaction. So
absolutely.
There you have it.
Well, we have other game. Can some of us join the next one? Have a few? Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just we'll just send you a link, and then we can all jump on and watch the game together. It'll be
get in touch to express your interest. Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to have you on, Glenn.
Yeah, get yourself and see if we can get some of the others from within that Warriors bubble jump in and watch this. It's it'll be awesome.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I'll be in touch, mate. We're doing one this Sunday for the Bulldogs game. This Sunday we definitely do one. The following week we probably won't because I think Rob's going to get to Suncorp Stadium.
I'm going to try and get out to that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Any few other Southeast Queensland supporters, jump on board that one too.
Me personally, I'll still be in my cave here in Sydney. We have a few with a week to spare. Okay, cool. Yeah, excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. We'll get that happening this weekend. Be a big watch party, a bit of fun, and hopefully watch us win our third in a row and keep us on that run towards the semis. That's the plan. Yeah, so I'll contact you. Yeah. I'll be in touch over the next couple of days, mate, and we'll get the. We'll probably do it through this Restream platform. So I'll just send you the link for that, and then it's just a matter of clicking on the link, and you guys can jump in. That'd be great. Absolutely, yeah, loving it. Yeah, love to have some of the Warriors people.
That'd be awesome. That'd be fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely,
brilliant. It'd be great fun.
The round 21 review, mate. What else happened in round 21?
Yeah, mate. So Thursday night we had the Knights 28 over the Broncos 20. Knights with tries to Clifford, Pearce, Fitzgibbon, Barnett, and Tuala, and Clifford kicked 4 from 5. The Broncos, Tessie New, Corey Oates, Willison, and Farnworth, Asako 2 from 4. Newcastle were backing up after a very short 4-day turnaround. The Broncos going into the game without their biggest strike weapon in Katoni Staggs. And, Jake Turpin, their usual number 9, was out as well. Weird game, this one. Very weird game. The Knights had all the ball on the Broncos line for the first 10 to 12 minutes. In fact, Brisbane had to make 68 tackles before they even touched the ball, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And as expected, the Knights focused their attack on that left edge of Fitzgibbon, Best, Tuala out there, been done so well against the Raiders the previous week, and Ponga obviously chining in, putting Arthurs, Asako, and Gamble under all sorts of pressure in the defensive line. And I thought those three guys did really well, particularly in the first half, defending their own line.
Yeah, absolutely. The Knights had a mountain of possession in Brisbane's half, but they just really struggled to convert any of that possession into points through the fact that Brisbane just really defended well. In fact, Brisbane looked the better of the two sides with ball in hand, making the most of their limited opportunities, scoring 2 first half tries with only 33% possession. And the Knights, with nearly 70% possession for the majority of the match, looked far from convincing, and they'll need a lot of improvement if they're any chance of winning their remaining 4 games and securing that semi-final spot that they're looking for. The Broncos, with 2 tries late, made it an exciting finish. And I think with an even amount of possession, the result probably could have gone the other way.
But it would have been a lot different. Yeah, they did well to hang in there, the Broncos.
Yeah, mate. Adam O'Brien, he's got a lot of work to do with that Knights side. The Fitzgibbon try, a little bit controversial, with Bradman Best's interference on Jermaine Asako, denying him an opportunity. He was all over.
You've seen plenty of those disallowed. Like that's what professional foul almost. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Quickly before it disappears off my screen, Jack Kelly has just said, "Glad you guys are on board as sponsors for the Brothers and Sisters United in the Central Coast touch footy competition in the Indigenous comp. We're happy to be on board, Jack. Yep, we are sponsoring that side. So yeah, happy to be on board. For those that don't know, Jack's Isabel Kelly's brother. So and he's a Central Coast local. So yeah, we're stoked to be able to be a part of that. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So yeah. What's the next game, mate? What was the Friday night game?
We had the Raiders up against the Dragons at Seavas Super there on the Gold Coast. The Raiders getting away with a 20-12 victory over the Dragons there. Rapana, Whiten and Starling scoring tries, and the trusty bit of Jared Croker putting over 4 from 4. And for the Dragons, Fagai and Sims getting tries, Lomax 2 from 3. The Raiders with 2 milestones in this game. Jordan Rapana brought up his 150th NRL game for the Raiders, and Elijah Anderson, no relation, making his NRL debut from the Raiders bench there. And footy player for a day, FPD, Cody Ramsey, he was lost for HIA as a result of a head clash with Andrew McCulloch on the first tackle of the game. Tackle. So, yeah, the Dragons were good early performers in this contest, and they held the ball well in attack. Line speed in the defence that put the Raiders attack under a heap of pressure, and they were unable to get out of their own half. And both teams settled themselves into the game. It was one of those games where they had to sort of find their feet. And it was a pretty even first half, both sides scoring points, but the Dragons were probably the better of the 2 sides. And surprisingly, though, it was one of those games where the scoreboard didn't really tell the story and the scores were level. They probably felt entitled to be up a little bit more after their performance.
Yeah, the Raiders were a bit loose with their discipline, with a number of players put on a report for high tackles, others giving away penalties for poor discipline. The Raiders' second half kicking game from Sam Williams and Jack Whiten was particularly good. They chose to kick early in the tackle count on a few occasions, which forced the Dragons' big men to continually turn around. And they got a 40-20 late in the half that put the Dragons under immense pressure. Overall, though, it was a mistake-ridden, grinding win for the Raiders that's moved them into the top 8. The Dragons' poor, predictable attack really didn't ask the Raiders' defence too many questions. And without Ben Hunt, the Dragons have pretty much zero chance of making the finals, in my opinion. Their attack just lacks any creativity whatsoever. And I think Hook Griffin choosing not to use Matt Duffy in his game day 17 is proven to be a huge mistake. Because I think he's that X factor that could probably get him.
There's a bit of spark. Yeah, you can get something happening with his speed.
That could probably get him a result that's going to get him into that top 8. But they've got such a massive run home. Like they're playing 3 of the top 4 teams, I think, in
they got
in their run home. So yeah, it is. Caden Rogers, Hammer, Chippy apprenticeship signed. Thanks for the pro tip. All good, bro. See,
awesome, mate. Well done.
Yep, best industry you can get into. Yeah, good on you, buddy.
Sure. Second up on Friday was shaping as probably one of the games of the round was the Rabbitohs 40 over the Eels 12. So the Rabbitohs, Josh Mansour with a double, Jackson Paulo with a double, Dane Gagai and Cam Murray getting tries, Reynolds kicking 8 from 9, and the Eels, Sivo and Blake with tries, and Moses 2 from 2. a big inclusion for the Eels was Mitch Moses returning from that fractured back that he sustained in Origin 3. We anticipated that they really needed his kicking game back. It would be a welcome addition to, the Eels attacking arsenal.
Yep.
And the Rabbits looking for their 9th straight win and a chance to cement their spot in the top 4. There's always going to be a game where patience and building pressure and maximising the momentum shifts would determine the outcome of this one. And the Rabbitohs' left side made plenty of meters with Mansour and the Dunster being an absolute mismatch. Hayes Dunster there. He was really down on confidence visibly after, a fairly a few mistakes early on. Yeah. And Mansour with 2 tries and 170 run meters in the first half, and he ended up with 254 for the match. So he's still got it, the source.
Yeah,
and
he does.
Definitely at his best game in a Rabbitohs jersey. And the Eels were really struggling with the shift on the left side, and the Rabbitohs and both Walker and Mitchell creating opportunities for Mansour out on that left-hand side there.
Yeah, mate. Jay Harris has just posted up. Still can't believe Rabbits letting Reynolds go. It's I mean, you just look at what he brings to a side. I mean, the Broncos are picking up, probably 10 points a game in his goal kicking alone. So, which is going to be
footy smarts.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's
going
to be
game management.
There is talk that's looking at a young kid, Leon Price's son, over in the English Super League, 18. He's a halfback.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's talk they're looking at him. But you just don't know what they're going to do next year. Benji's still saying that he wants to run around. Whether Benji's got 80 minutes of footy in him a week, I don't know. They've got Blake Taff in the background there. But yeah, I still can't believe they're letting a guy of Reynolds' caliber go.
It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. Only offering him 1 year.
Yeah, I can't believe they balked at 2 years, 2-year deal for him. So, but yeah, back to the game. Mate, Mitch Moses returning from injury didn't really feature in the Eels attack besides his 5th tackle kicking option. And I had to ask the question during the game, if he's not 100% fit, then what value is he to the Eels over the next few games? Because that's what they're missing. I mean, for what he brought to the game on the weekend, Jacob Arthur could have done that. They need Mitch Moses at 100% fit.
He can't be a passenger there as well.
No, not in the halves.
Carry him. No.
Yeah. At 14-0 down, the Eels had no answers to the Rabbits' momentum and the pressure of not having scored points for 120 minutes of footy. Remember they got beat to 0 last week by the Roosters. Kind of was taking its toll on their decision making. It was like they were making rush decisions with the ball. South with the 3 early tries in the second half spelled doom for the Eels, and they looked totally shot with no answers. South's do period of play in their matches where their intensity level drops and they can give up cheap points to the opposition, and it happened again midway through the second half. And Para were able to cross for 2 tries. Which was their first points in like 137 minutes of footy. But again, like you said, another dominant performance from the South, moving them into second place on the ladder at that point. Parramatta over the past 2 weeks have a 56 combined scoreline in their last 2 games, and they're heading into the semis with games against Manly, Storm, and the Panthers in the coming weeks. I can't see them finishing in the top 4. And they'll be without Reid Marnie for the rest of the season too. He's succumbed to a shoulder injury, which is a huge blow. And as guys are mentioning, we must congratulate Adam, who became the Rabbitohs' highest ever point scorer, surpassing Eric Sims's total. I don't know what the total is. I think it was 1,800 and something points. So, it's a great achievement from Adam Reynolds. It's great that he's able to get that milestone before he leaves the club.
It's a massive slice of history for him with such a club, etched in rugby league history. It's a tremendous milestone to have.
Mark Roberts is saying at 80% Moses is miles better than 100% Daddy's boy. I agree, but the problem is that the Eels aren't getting 80% out of Moses at the moment. He's running out there at like 40%. He was virtually he was virtually unspotted except on the fifth tackle when his kicking game came in, and that was
Played
pretty
in a
much
dinner
it.
suit. Yeah.
Yeah. He went off the field at one point, and no one realised. So yeah, it was a. I just
bit of a
think
non-factor.
Yeah. At the moment, he is, and they need to fix that quick.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we were the 3 o'clock game on Saturday, and your second game at 5:30 was the Panthers 20 over the Roosters 14. Panthers with tries double to Matt Burton and Paul Momirovski. Burton 4 from 5. The Roosters tries to Radley, Manu, and Tupou, and Adam Kieran, who's normally a fairly reliable goal kicker, just 1 from 3.
Yeah.
Nathan Cleary was not named, and he was clearly given the extra week just, to get himself right for the important run home from the finals. Smart move, considering Penrith are 6 points clear of 4th, and they're pretty much assured of a top 3 finish anyway. And you definitely want the old Cyborg to be 100%, get that final little tune-up for that semi-final run.
Absolutely.
Tavita Pangai Jr. was also ruled out as well. He was on the extended bench, but he needed to break the NRL bubble and head back to Brisbane, to be with his partner who sadly had lost their baby at 24 weeks into her pregnancy. And again, thoughts and prayers out to Tavita Pangai Jr. and his family. It's you can't imagine going through something like that.
No,
extremely sad news. Sad news for them. So hope that I'm sure they're getting all the love and support that they need from their families. And it's a terrible thing to go through. The Panthers were looking to remain, in that race for the minor premiership in this game, and the Roosters were wanting to stay in touch with that all-important top 4. And the first points did go to the Panthers in the match after having to defend their line for an extended period against the Roosters' attack.
Yeah, Viliami kick-out targeting Sam Walker in defence worked really well to set up that first try. But I still find for a man of his size and his ability, he hasn't utilised anywhere near enough in the Panthers' attacking plays. He's quite often used as a decoy, which I find is a bit of a waste because teams are starting to read that now. And I think that's where, when Cleary comes back, I think that's where the Panthers will be most dangerous because sides are getting used to Viliami being used as that lead runner decoy, and Cleary will hit him with that no look. He'll look behind and pass front, and that'll get Viliami into those holes. Both teams with some really good passages of play with their second phase play and offloads. Jared Warrior-Hargraves was binned just before half-time for a deliberate penalty, and Penrith made the most of it with a shift of momentum to score just before half-time. Matt Burton created headaches for the Roosters' defence with an early second-half line break and then a try to extend the Panthers' lead. As to be expected, the Roosters didn't succumb easily, and they continued to pressure the Panthers' defence, which paid off because Joey Manu scored again. He's in a real purple patch of form too, isn't he? And then the giraffe Daniel Tupou scored, and I felt that the momentum had kind of shifted to the Roosters. They had a great period of possession on the Panthers' line, but the Panthers were just resilient in their defence as they have been all season. And without the Cyborg playing, I thought Penrith would struggle against the Roosters, but Matt Burton outstanding in the halves. 211 running metres, 2 tries, 7 tackle breaks, and 3 line breaks. It's just an amazing game that he put in against a side that's up there. It wasn't one of those bottom sides that he put that performance in again. Top team, so. Yeah,
exactly. It wasn't the greatest last 10 minutes from the Roosters either, and I think they were looking a bit disorganised, trying to come back into that one. So Panthers always sort of had them covered there, as you said, with their strong defence.
Yeah, Ciala says, will the Bulldogs be a good side next year with all their new signs? I don't think a year's
on paper they would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
But whether they can put it on the field is another thing. And a lot of their signings
time to develop the combinations, and as we've said, the cohesion. And you can't expect that you put a bunch of guys all together in one team, no matter how good they are, and expect them to just hit the ground running. It does take a period of sort of
don't get me wrong. they've bought great. They've got like Josh Adokar. They've got Matt Burton. They've got Powder Naden going there as well. Tavita Pangai.
They've beefed up their attack.
Yeah,
they've addressed
and
the
Paul
area of
Vaughan.
concern for them, which is their attack. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll remain to be seen. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Moving on to the final game on Super Saturday, which was the Storm 28 over Manly 18. Storm with Justin Olam with a double, Bromwich and Hughes, and Hines 2 from 3, Pappenhausen 4 from 4. And for the Sea Eagles, Saab and Garrick got a double, and Garrick kicking 3 goals.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, Manly's recent form, very strong form, was going to be the biggest challenge to Melbourne's. Well, going to be the biggest test, I should say, for Melbourne this week. And they'd been dominating opponents in the past, but this was their first real test since the round 3 loss that they succumbed to Penrith. And for Manly, this was one chance to see how they measured up against the competition leaders and to test their, premiership credentials, I guess.
Yep.
And it was a really high standard of game, which you'd expect from 2 of the form teams in the competition. Manly with a lot of ball movement in their opening sets, and we're obviously trying to work the Storm's defence over. And you can't beat Melbourne by going up the middle and, doing that kind of boring, mundane sort of style of football. So it was a good strategy from Manly to test Melbourne. Melbourne's defence was equal to it. It's kind of like the way that we used to test the Storm out a fair bit. They say that we used to struggle. Storm used to struggle against sort of our attack because it was a little bit off the cuff and moving the ball around.
Yep.
And it's a lot of merit to that. And Melbourne scored with their first opportunity in a Sea Eagles half with baby Bigfoot Kenny Bromwich sliding over. And then the creativity from Melbourne enables them to make plenty of metres in their set. Manly's defence did very, very well to hold Melbourne out for long periods. And Melbourne's clinical play, though, kept them in control. And although they weren't getting blown off the park, Manly, you could see, started to struggle as Melbourne started, tightening the screws, tightening the vice on them there.
Yeah.
And Manly got themselves back in the contest just before halftime with Jason Saab intercepting a Nico Hines cutout pass there to the Fox, and he raced away 80 metres to score. No one's going to catch him.
Nah. Amazingly, even with Melbourne having 40 more tackles in Manly's half than Manly had in the Storm's half, the scores were locked up at halftime. And I think Desi would have taken a lot of positives out of that half. The Storm did well to kind of take Turbo out of the contest with a good kick and chase pressure during that first half. But Turbo being Turbo, he always finds a way to get himself into the game. And he did. Melbourne were just relentless with their attack pressure. Manly with only their second tackle in Melbourne's 20-metre zone at the 60th minute mark. And amazingly, they were still in the game. So it was such a hard-fought contest. Fatigue was setting in with both teams late in the game, and that's where Jerome Hughes, running at a tide, Schuster and Sipley got that try to Cam Munster to close out the game. But I thought Manly tried valiantly to get points back. I think it was a tough contest that Melbourne needed, but Manly certainly, for me, but Manly certainly proved themselves worthy of title contenders. They only had 42% possession. They had 11 less sets with the ball than Melbourne did, and it was always going to be an uphill battle to get the result when you've got that kind of stat going against you and in Melbourne's favour. But for them to only lose by, 8 points?
10 points.
10 points was a great result for Manly, I thought, moving forward into that business end of the season in the semis.
Yeah, they certainly wouldn't have lost any fans there. And Desi troubles Bellyache a little bit in the coaching record. He's got the slight edge, I heard, during the week. So something for Storm to think about.
Mate, Millie's just posted a message. She said, guys, non-footy related question. What was your favourite Australian Olympic medal-winning performance? Boomers for mine after all those years of Olympic disappointment. I felt really happy for Andrew Gaze too. I admit I cried. You would have liked that one, mate?
I loved it. I was going to say that would be mine. From an Australian point of view, definitely. You see the Boomers, I mean, they've come so close over the years and they really pushed the USA in that semi-final. Obviously, too much class there from from the Americans, as you can understand, chock full of NBA stars. But yeah, it was great. Like, he was so emotional, Andrew Gaze. It was great to watch. Like, and we celebrated it's not bronze, it's rose gold. Remember, as as they were saying. So yeah, I'll agree with that, Millie. That was a great moment for Australian basketball, and good to see us improving. Paddy Mills, what a legend.
Yeah, for me, being an ex-track and field athlete in my previous former life, for me it was Ash Maloney's bronze medal in the decathlon. Track and field is such a lonely sport. I mean, you have training partners in that, but effectively you're doing everything on your own. And this guy, at 21 years old, came out and he did PBs in the 100, the high jump, the pole vault, the 1500, the 110 meter hurdles in a 10 event card, winning the bronze medal. But it was what Cedric Dubler did in that competition as well. He'd failed in, I think it was a high jump. He could have just left the competition like a lot of guys do when they can't get the points to continue on. He chose to stay in the competition for the last two events, being the pole vault and the 1500, to help his teammate get that bronze medal. And it was those images of Dubler yelling at Maloney in that last lap of the 1500 to get him home is something that will
be iconic.
It will stay. It's something that will be in Australian folklore for years to come. And I thought that was it was absolutely
amazing
great.
Spirit and camaraderie.
Absolutely. And for New Zealand, it'd be probably three. There was and everyone will say Lisa Carrington. For me, it was the Black Ferns winning the gold medal in the sevens rugby. I've got a third cousin that plays in that side. Never met her, but it's family related. And also Dame Valerie Adams getting a bronze in her fourth Olympic Games, and Tom Walsh getting the bronze in his Olympic shot put event. So yeah, just those.
I'd just also like to give a shout out. Everyone knows my connection to the Philippines, so I'll give another shout out to Hidlin Diaz, who won the first ever gold medal for the Philippines in the weightlifting. So yeah, she's a new national hero there in the Pinas. So yeah, congratulations to them. Yeah.
Back to the games, mate.
Yeah,
it is.
So that brings us along to Sunday's game, which was the Tigers 28 over the Bulldogs 16. And sorry, Carl, this was a bit of a bludger of a game. Tigers, Mamalo, our good mate Kenny Mamalo getting a double. Good to see him continuing his try-scoring form. And Leilua and Talau getting tries. Dewey 6 from 6. For the Bulldogs, Meany, Waddell, and Allen with tries. Avarillo 2 from 3. The Tigers were absolutely desperate for win in this game to keep themselves a mathematical chance of playing finals footy alongside us, and they did enough in the first half to control the game with good possession, their scoring opportunity. And the Bulldogs had a better completion rate though, and they managed to keep themselves within striking distance there with two good first half tries, a 16-10 at the break. They just don't create enough opportunities for themselves in games, or they're just struggling to build the pressure, which really separates the top teams from the bottom teams, particularly this year. And the Tigers were able to build pressure and put the Bulldogs under duress coming out of their own half. The Bulldogs are gritty though, and you have to say that about them. And what they lack in creativity, they make up for with just plain guts and heart. There's a lot to be admired there, and it's kept them in a lot of games this year. On a few occasions this season. So it's not, as I said, and the Tigers, much like us, have that uncanny knack of, the mistakes in the set directly after points in their gameplay, almost, bringing them undone immediately. And they had a couple of tries from well-weighted kicks in each half, which is something they do well with guys like Talau and Mamalo out wide.
Yeah, Talau's pretty good under the high ball.
Capitalise, yeah.
Yeah, he's good under the high, Talau is. And I mean, Adam Dewey's got a great kicking game. But the up and in style of defence makes the Bulldogs vulnerable to tries out wide. Makes them vulnerable to tries out wide, and the Bulldogs were able to exploit that to stay in the contest. Kenny's always had a bit of a problem with him coming in, rushing in the defensive line, leaving his winger unmarked. I thought Adam Dewey was outstanding for the Tigers. He's a real future leader of that club, and him back at 6 makes the Tigers a much better team. The changing your halves every week certainly doesn't help with building combinations, and that's been one of the Bulldogs' biggest problems this year. And you can expect your halves. You can't expect your halves to play well when they're playing nervous of losing their spot and playing under pressure.
I feel like they're on the chopping block every week, getting scrutinised for their performance.
That's been the problem. It's been the problem with them. Hetherington with another 10-minute stint in the sin bin late in the game for really a nothing hit, really. But it's obviously his reputation. And he's got suspended for 2 weeks for it. So, and Mark Roberts says Tigers won't make finals because they've already lost the Mike Doreen Cup. That's right, mate. They've
another to play for now. Lost the will to win. yeah, touche. Yeah. Moving along to the final game of round 21, that was the Titans 36 over the Cowboys 14. Titans with tries to Kelly getting a double, Brimson, Fafita, Furmore, Taylor, and Paddy Herbert, and Sexy Sexton with 4 from 7. The Cowboys did, and Holmes fell, and Holmes 1 from 3. Justin Holbrook again choosing to start Fafita from the bench. And Toddy Payton with the surprise move shift from the middle to the edge. The Cowboys looking to avoid 8 straight losses, and the Titans needing to win to keep their finals hopes alive as well. And the Cowboys played like an undisciplined brand of footy, and they struggled to put any pressure, to create any sustained pressure on the Titans' defence. The Titans targeted Taumalolo on the edge, actually, and it was evident that Taumalolo, he was really struggling with that extra defence on the edge. And he was found out with his defensive reads on a couple of occasions there. With that shift.
The Titans were the better of the two sides in the first half. They controlled the ball. They built pressure really well. They forced Cowboys to defend for 14 more sets. 24 completed sets to 10 in half a footy. 223 tackles to 125. That's 98 more tackles that the Cowboys had to make. The Cowboys, it was just courageous in the face of adversity to only go in 10 points down. But you keep turning over the ball like that and making those kind of errors and those kind of mistakes and gifting teams that much possession, you're not going to win the game of footy. But for all their possession and their field position, the Titans really failed to maintain any pressure and put the Cowboys to the sword. If that was Melbourne or Manly, that had that kind of, or South that had that kind of possession, it would have been a 60, 70 point scoreline.
You expect them to be a bit more clinical with the opportunities that they have. Place those opportunities.
Exactly. The Cowboys showed great tenacity to stay in the game, and Toddy will be pleased with them for that. They only had 39% possession and a 10-4 penalty count against them. But, they were courageous in defeat. But, it's sad to hear that the Donster, Anthony Don, has officially announced his retirement from rugby league. Obviously, the board short industry will be heartbroken. But the Titans have said that they will be using the material that's used to make the Don's shorts. They'll send that over to Africa, and it will be donated to a World Vision village where they will be able to clothe 400 people from one pair of shorts. So
one pair of Anthony Don's extended footy shorts. Yeah.
It's no, it is sad. He's been a great servant of the game. He's the Titans' highest try scorer with 85.
He could score a try all throughout his career. He knew his way to the line. A very solid player. Yeah, quite underrated.
He came in late. I think he was 25 or 26 when he was called into first grade. So played 130 odd or 150 odd games or something for the Titans. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but he was a good player. He did know how to find his way to the try line, and he will be missed. Thanking him for his service, but those shorts.
Yeah, the shorts. He was pure. Just the long shorts. It just he must have had those custom made every week because he
obviously
just looked
did.
at his pants and that's it. Knickerbockers.
Yeah,
mate.
Yeah,
we're going to take a look at the run
home. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to quickly go through each team's games that they've got left. Obviously, because everything's played up in Queensland now, there's no real home or away advantage anymore. And that's evident. Like in the top four, it's really not going to matter where you finish because you're not going to get that home semi-final.
Them, yeah.
No. But yeah, we'll start with the Storm. The Storm play the Raiders, Titans, Eels, and Sharks on their run home. They're sitting on 38 points. I've got them winning all four of those games.
Yeah, same here. Can't see them losing any of those.
No, and finishing on 46 points at the top of the table. The Panthers on 36 points play the Dragons, Rabbits, Tigers, and Eels. And again, I've got them finishing with 4 wins in their remaining 4 games. Particularly if Nathan Cleary's back for that Rabbits game. That'll be the crucial one there. But I think they'll have the measure of the Rabbits. And I've got them finishing on 44 points. How about yourself?
Yeah, mate. The only one I could see them potentially dropping there is that Rabbitohs game. So if the Rabbitohs turn up and continue their form, then I could see, as you said, it depends on the Cleary factor. But even still, he'll be a little bit short of a gallop there. So I could actually visualise the Rabbitohs winning that one possibly. But other than that, you'd say that they'll beat the Dragons, Tigers, and Eels fairly comfortably. Yeah.
Then I've got the Rabbits now currently on 36, and they play the Titans, the Panthers, the Roosters, and the Dragons. Now I've got the Rabbits losing the game to the Panthers, but winning the remaining 3 games to finish on 42 points and in 3rd spot on the ball. Yeah, 3rd spot.
Yeah, based on my statement, I'm expecting them to win that game against the Panthers or potentially win that game. So I could see them actually being on 44. But yeah, it's touch and go.
Points So you could have the Rabbits 2nd and the Panthers 3rd.
Yeah.
But we agree that those 3 sides will be the top 3 sides at the end of the season.
Yeah, without question.
No doubt. Yep. Then we've got the Roosters on 28 points, and they have the Broncos and Dragons the next 2 weeks. Then they play the Rabbits, and then the final round is the Raiders. I've got them losing to the Rabbits, but winning the other 3 games and finishing on 34 points to be in 4th spot or 5th spot, depending on for and against. Yeah.
I have to agree with that. You can't see them losing to the Broncos, Dragons, or Raiders. Although depending on what form if the Raiders can find form in the last 4 weeks, then that could be a tight one. But the Rabbitohs probably have a bit too much for them. So I would agree with that. 34 points.
Yep.
Finishing 4th or 5th.
The Eels currently sitting in 5th. I've got them finishing 6th. I've got them losing to the Sea Eagles, winning against the Cowboys, and then losing to the Storm and the Panthers. It's a horror run home. I've got them finishing on 30 points, but if they're going to be any chance of winning a premiership this season, they need to, win one of those Sea Eagles, Storm, or Panthers games to prove their worth, I think. Otherwise, I can see them finishing in 6th and going straight out in the semi-finals, pretty much.
Yeah, if they get pumped in any of those 3 games, it's not looking good for them. The Cowboys, is that a home game for the Cowboys? So is that being played up in Townsville?
Quite possibly could be. Yeah.
Like you never know what could happen there either.
No.
Anyway, you would expect them to account for them, but
you would
the
think
way
so.
that they're playing at the moment, who knows?
Yep. The Sea Eagles currently on 26 points. They play the Eels, Raiders, Bulldogs, and Cowboys. I've got them winning all those games, finishing on 34 points, and depending on for and against, they'll finish either 4th or 5th. So I'm not sure what the points differential is between the Sea Eagles and the Roosters at the moment, but I can see with the Sea Eagles having an easier run than the Roosters. I can see them getting some big points, point differentials in their next couple of games, especially their last two against the Bulldogs and Cowboys, and that could be enough to get them, to get that fourth spot that they're obviously chasing. We've got the Titans on 20 at the moment, and they play the Rabbits, the Storm, the Knights, and the Warriors. I've only got them winning one game heading into the semis.
They could easily lose all four, and they could easily win all four. Not easily, that's not an easy win, but Rabbitohs, Storm, Knights, Warriors. Yeah, you can see them beating the Knights, but Rabbitohs and Storm will be a big test for their credentials in the next 2 weeks.
Yep. And that's the thing. They lose to the Rabbits and Storm, and they come up against the Knights, and they drop their bickies against the Knights. And it's good night for them. And
that'll be a crucial to the final 2 games against the Knights and then against us.
Yeah, I've got the finishing on 22 points, so only one more win from the next four games. So we'll see how they go. And then we've got the Raiders also on 20. They play the Storm, the Sea Eagles, the Warriors, and the Roosters. I've got the Raiders winning only one game, and that's the one against us in the second last round.
Ironically.
I have them losing to the Storm, the Sea Eagles, and the Roosters. But again, it depends on what Raiders team turns up. And I'm seeing that CNK is going to be back for them possibly next week. Be interesting to see how he is, though he could be, short of a run and, coming back from injury. So not really sure on what he's going to bring to the Raiders at this point in time in the season. But he's obviously a big in, but I have them finishing on 22 points as well.
Yeah, you can see the games against us and the Roosters going either way as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be the final 2 games before the end of the season will be crucial.
Yeah.
It's a tight run home.
Oh, I know. The Knights, they're currently on 20. They've got the Sharks, the Bulldogs, the Titans, and the Broncos. Now, I've got them winning 3 of their 4 remaining games and moving on to 26 points to grab that 7th spot on the ladder. I think they've probably got the easiest run home out of all the sides that are in with a chance in the top 8. And the fact that they've got their actual first choice spine back now in Ponga, Clifford, Pearce, and Brayley is going to be a massive thing for them going forward. They've only had it one game in this whole season. This weekend will be the second time that those 4 guys have played together this year. So if they can kind of build something around that spine, I think the Knights will be one of those sides that are going to rocket into the semi-finals for the end of the season.
It's a nice run home for them, and you can see them winning more than losing there as well. The Titans game could go either way. With the Sharks, they're equally as desperate. Like you got 4 points that could go one way, and then 2 points that could go the other way, and it's just all these games matter so much in this like really tight contest.
Absolutely.
For the 2 final spots.
Yeah, I've got the Sharks at the moment. They're on 18. I've got them finishing on 20. I think they got the Knights, Tigers, Broncos, and Storm. I think the only game that they'll win is the Broncos, and they'll finish on 20, and they'll be out of that race for 8th spot. Same with the Dragons. They're on 18 points as well. They've got the Panthers, Roosters, Cowboys, and Rabbits. They'll probably beat the Cowboys, maybe. I can't see them winning the other 3 games.
Yep.
And
you say they're out of contention.
The best I can see them is 20. I've got the Warriors, Dean. They've got the Bulldogs, the Broncos, the Raiders, Titans. I've got us winning 3 of those 4 to finish on 22 points. Again, for and against is going to be the thing. And I think on for and against, we will not make the semi-finals.
It's that.
Results go ahead. I think we dip out of the semi-finals based on for and against.
It's that big loss to the Rabbitohs has been crucial. I mean, if we can get strong wins against the Bulldogs and Broncos, and coming into that Raiders game, it changes it a bit. We come in there with some real form. if we drop them against the Bulldogs or the Broncos, it's good night.
Yep. Tigers on 16 play the Cowboys, Sharks, Panthers, and Bulldogs. I've got the Tigers winning 3 of their last 4 games. I think they'll beat the Cowboys. I think they'll beat the Sharks, and I think they'll beat the Bulldogs again. And they'll finish on 22. And again, there'll be another one that misses out on the semis based on for and against.
Yeah.
And they'll probably be in their usual position of 9th. So, yeah. And then the other 3 sides, the Cowboys, the Broncos, and the Bulldogs, I've got them. They're on 14, 12, and 6 points, and I haven't got them winning any games on the run home to finish out of contention. So, final ladder prediction is the Storm first on 46, the Panthers on 44, the Rabbits on 42, the Sea Eagles and Roosters both on 34. The Eels on 30, the Knights on 26, and the Titans on 22 make up the 8. And then you've got the Warriors, Raiders, Tigers all on 22, missing the 8. Sharks, Dragons on 20, Cowboys 14, Broncos 12, and the Bulldogs to win another wooden spoon.
I can't see that changing. Yeah, I've got something similar. I mean, the only difference would probably be between like the Rabbitohs maybe sneaking into second, expense of the Panthers. It'll be the same top 4. I could see a world where if we pick up some form, we could sneak into that 8th spot. If we win all our games, I think we're very good chance of just sneaking in there. But a lot's got to happen, and we've got to get the runs on the board first before we can even think about that. We've got to get through. We've got to get through next week's game before we can even start thinking about that. That's it. There's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 sides vying for 2 spots.
It's crazy.
So
it's
tight, it is. The top home. The top 6 is settled. Those sides will make the semis. They can't not make the semis pretty much. So Knights, Titans, Warriors, Raiders, Tigers, Sharks, Dragons are all in contention for those last 2 spots in the 8. Going to be an interesting 4 weeks. And if
interesting.
Will the Dragons have another party before the end of the season? They probably will, mate. It'll be a party at Hooks, I think. Or because Paul Vaughan's going to host the one for the Bulldogs. He'll host the Bulldogs party now he's signed there. Warriors sneak into 8th spot. We've already defeated the Raiders this season. Time to make it twice. And that's the thing, mate. By the time we hit the Raiders, if things go to plan, we beat the Bulldogs and the Broncos, we go into that Raiders game on the back of 4 wins and, looking good, for a run into the semis. So, I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I want the Warriors to make the 8, but you're right, we need to win all 4 games and take the results of all the other teams out of the equation. And I think we win all 4 games we're in. We can't afford to drop a game, but it's going to depend on for and against.
Excuse me. Exactly. It all comes down to this weekend, though.
Yeah, it does. It does, mate.
It all comes down to round 22 and the team list to play the Bulldogs at Moreton Daily Stadium up here. We've got Reece Walsh at fullback. Well, we're not quite sure who's going to come in for DWZ. We suspect it might be Ed Cozy. Based on the extended squad. But DWZ was originally named.
Now that he's not available, can they add another name to that 21-man squad?
Yeah, we were discussing this yesterday. So can they bring in someone else?
I hope so.
Yeah, I really hope so.
Yeah.
Because obviously Cozy has been down on confidence in his previous stints in first grade. So we'll see. I mean, there are options to shift a few players around there and bring someone else into the centres and perhaps move Adam Pompey onto the wing. But
I'd probably move. You could move Murch into the back row and move Ewan Aitken out into the centres.
Yeah,
Pompey goes to a wing.
He was great on the wing last year.
Yeah.
But as
Something
is
like that, anyway.
something along those lines, I think. But as the team was named, so we got Hiku and Pompey named in the centres, and Hectic Montoya on the other wing. CHT and SOS are the halves. Row and captain. Jazz has been named at hooker, and Jackson Frey, a real surprise inclusion there to start as prop. It's his first grade debut. He's been around the club for a few years now, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes in his first grade debut, starting as well. Ewan Aitken and Josh Curran in the second row. Bailey Sirinen at lock. Karima Afoa, JTB, and Eli Katoa. On the extended bench, as we said, Ed Cozzi, Jack Murchie, Chad Townsend, and Wade Egan. So there could be movement there as well with some of those guys on the extended bench.
Yeah, Matt Lodge out, suspended for 2 games. So Jackson Frey's the man named to make his Warriors debut, becoming Warrior number 265 if he does play. I'm still not convinced. I think there'll be a lot of change before the game with, as we've seen Brownie in the past. I'm thinking if I'm coach, I'm probably bringing, and Wade Egan is past fit. I'm bringing Egan into number 9. I'm dropping Jackson Frey. I'm bringing Bunty in off the bench to start at front row and moving Jazz back to the bench. But we'll wait and see. Adam Pompey named in the centres in place of Viliami Valea. I'm not sure what happened to Viliami. I know he came off. He came off midway through the second half in that game on the weekend against the Sharks, and they moved Aitken into the centres. Yeah, I don't know if he's got a niggling injury, but I've liked what I've seen of him. He's another big centre like young Berry. Yeah. Jermaine Tanoa-Brown named on the interchange bench in place of the suspended Kane Evans. And then, as you said, DWZ has been suspended. His replacement in the squad hasn't yet been named. Chad Townsend and Wade Egan named on the extended bench, which I think is important to note, that, they're both there as options, so there could be a little bit of change. Petahiku playing his milestone 150th NRL game this weekend, so we congratulate him on making his milestone. DWZ was going to be playing the same milestone game, but he'll have to wait now till next week against the Broncos.
We'll have to put his face.
Yeah. Mate, for me, I think the Warriors will be looking to build on the efforts of the past few weeks. Peter Hiku has been really good for us in the past 2 games. He's provided that much-needed experience and that level head that we've needed in really tight situations. For Noah Blake has really stepped up as in that captain's role, proving to be a really good leader. And how good does our future look with front row leaders like Blake and Lodge at the helm of our forward pack? CHT looked good in his first game back. I really liked his kicking game. It looked like he's done a bit of work.
It did look like that. He had the sort of the starting to show a few qualities in the game management side of things that we've been sort of asking from him. And
same with Sean O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan comes under a lot of bagging on a lot of the Warriors fan sites, but I really don't see what they're complaining about. I think Sean's got a really level-headed game to him. He's been really good in the past 2 weeks. The games where Sean O'Sullivan doesn't play well is the games where our forwards don't get forward momentum. Behind a good forward pack, Sean O'Sullivan is running for over 100 metres a game, and that's what we want, is a halfback that's going to engage the line, play through the line. And I like him, and I think the Warriors could do a lot worse than sign him to another 1-year contract as a backup option for next year with our halves. Matty Lodge will be a huge loss in the middle. His run meters, and in particular his offloads that create that second phase play for us, has been important in the last couple of weeks, lifting our average set meters from 33 meters a set to 47 meters a set. And I think that's something that needs to be noted is, the past 2 weeks, Lodge's game, it's on the back of Matt Lodge's go forward and his second phase play offloads, and he's choosing his offloads really well too. At the Broncos, he tended to have a lot of drop balls from his offloads, but he's roped it in a little bit at the Warriors. He's instead of trying to do 12 and 15 a game, he's hovering around the 5 to 8. And I think
being a bit more selective.
It's been the big change in our game. And DWZ is going to be a huge loss on the wing. Purely because he gets our sets off really well. He's got a lot of speed, which we saw in his try-scoring feats the past 2 weeks. So whoever comes in for those two guys has a massive job to do to kind of fill that void. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, sure will be. Other matches, we'll go through some of the other games in round 22 as well. So Thursday at Sunshine Coast Stadium, we've got the Storm up against the Raiders.
Yep.
Storm only 2 changes to the lineup, with Felice Kafusi returning from suspension back row, and the biggest human in the world, Nelson Asofa, named to return on the bench. Nico Hines retains his spot at fullback, with Pappenhausen again named to start off the bench. But Hines' game minutes getting less and less each week as Pappenhausen starts to sort of find his feet again back in first grade and regain match fitness. The Raiders, Bailey Simonson returning after 5 weeks out with a toe injury. He's named on the wing with Semi Valame dropping out of the squad, and Sia Soliola returning on the interchange bench, with young 4-minute debutant Elijah Anderson dropping out of the squad. Sorry, Millie, but I'm expecting a big Storm win here. 13 plus.
Yep, I agree. The Storm just in a real purple patch of form, and although I expect to have a crack, I think Melbourne will just be far too strong and will put a dent in the Raiders' semi-final hopes. The Raiders will certainly need to curb points for their for and against, as that's what's going to determine those last 2 spots in the top 8. So I think that's what the Raiders will be focusing on, is defence. If they can keep the Storm to under 20 points differential, I think it'll be good. But I think the Storm 13 plus for me. First game on Friday night. It's a Suncorp Stadium double header. We've got the Dragons versus the Panthers. Dragons, Jack Bird again named at fullback, Matt Duffy on the extended bench. Jared Beale, Warriors ex-centre Jared Beale named in the centres to replace the FPD Cody Ramsey. And Tyrell Fui Mayono named to fill the big shoes of the suspended Tarek Sims. For the Penny Panthers, Stephen Crichton returns from injury, named in the centres. Kurt Capewell out with 1-game suspension, with Casper Martin moving from front row to back row, and Matt Eisenhuth named in the front row. Both TPJ and Nathan Cyborg Cleary named on the extended bench. I've heard today that Cleary won't be coming into the squad. He's going to be rested for another week. And I think TPJ is a long shot, considering he broke the bubble to be with his wife. And Funtime Arpi has lost his appeal at the judiciary, so he's suspended. So I'm expecting Mitch Kenny will replace him. No Ben Hunt, again, is a huge loss. They lose so much direction, and their kicking game will definitely suffer in his absence. I just think Panthers will be way too classy. I don't expect the Dragons to win another game this year, as I said. And I think Griffin's decision to totally eliminate Duffy from his game day squad is going to cruel their final chances. And I think the Panthers will get up by at least 13 plus.
Yeah, I think this one could go well for the Dragons. I expect a big Penrith win. So the second game of the doubleheader on Friday is the Broncos up against the Roosters. The Broncos, Selwyn Cobbo named in the centres for Jesse Arthurs. Xavier Coates replacing Jermaine Asako. Albert Kelly returns at halfback, with Salford-bound Brody Croft missing out on selection. And the Polar Bear 2.0, Thomas Flegler returns from suspension and is named in the front row in place of young Keenan Palacia, who has been ruled out the remainder of the season with a fractured shoulder. And for the Roosters, with an unchanged back line, Siwa Takia is named in the front row for the suspended Jared Warrior-Hargraves, and Nat Butcher named in the back row for the suspended Lord Farquhar, who has been a bit naughty and will miss the next 3 games, the Roosters, and be forced to watch from Duloc Castle. Dresses. and the All-American quarterback from Omaha, Nebraska, Fletcher Baker, returns to the interchange bench. Roosters, I'm expecting will have a fairly comfortable win here. They'll have too much for the Broncos.
Yeah, Lord Farquhar's 3-week suspension, and Joe Warrior-Hargraves 1-week suspension. Huge blow for the Roosters. Broncos with their own suspension and injury problems. They dropped that whole left edge that was found out by Cody Walker and Josh Mansour last week. So it's a whole new left edge defensive line there. I don't think they're going to have any more luck with guys like Tedesco and Joey Manu running at them. And I expect it'll be a big win for the Roosters. Saturday, Seabus Super Stadium. It's the Rabbits versus Titans. The Rabbits, no changes to the Rabbits. 1-17 from last week, and Titans, no changes to the Titans. 1-17 from last week either. Holbrook choosing to stick with sexy Toby Sexton in the halves instead of Jamal Fogarty. Again, Fafita coming off the bench is a massive problem for me. I know he's named in the squad, I think, but he'll come off the bench again. And with South's dominant left edge, I think the game will be over before Fafita even takes the field. Reynolds and Walker, the form halves in the comp. Latrell starting to get back to his dominant best. I just don't think the Titans will have any answer to South's up-tempo style of play, their speed of the ruck and their forward power. And I think the Rabbits will get another 13-plus win.
Yeah, I can see it being tight for a while because obviously the Titans have a lot to play for. But I think, the class and the strike power of the Rabbitohs will shine through. And I'll see them get away with a fairly comfortable win there. So, definitely 13-plus. To Queensland Country Bank Stadium, and we've got the Cowboys up against the Tigers. For the Cowboys, Murray Tuilane with Dejan Arce named in the centres. And the unlikely utility, Jake Granville, named in the centres with Connolly Lemuelu, sorry. I apologise for that. Dropped to the extended bench. Jason Taumalolo suffered his third fractured hand of the season and is out, and he's replaced by Ben Condon. Lockie Bell will miss the game due to HIA protocols, and Jeremiah Nanai and Griffin Naimi are the new faces on the bench. And for the Tigers, poor old Woogie Maguire. He's getting a bit scratchy there. Makes no changes to the 17 from last week. James Roberts, the only new face on the extended bench, though, after completing his 14-day COVID isolation. I think this is going to be a tight game, personally. I can see this one going down to Golden Point. But really? I think the Tigers will... Yeah, I think this will be much closer than we think. So I think the Tigers will just get over the line, though.
I just think the unlikely sender in Jake Granville, defending on an edge and having someone like Luciano Leilua running at him. I think the Tigers are going to be desperate for back-to-back wins just to keep their semi-final hopes alive. If anyone's been watching that Tiger Town doco, and we're going to
how good has it been? Yeah,
we're going to talk about that in the set of 6 next week. Just to see Madge's passion and how he gets the boys up for games and stuff. I think he's going to have them really up for this game. Like he had them in a frenzy for that Dragons game. I think they'll be at it again. And I can see the Tigers putting on a big score against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are shot ducks at the moment. Olo's going to be a big out. A couple of new faces making debuts. Yeah, I just don't. I can't see them. I can't see where their points are going to come from. And I think Woogie's boys will get up.
I hope so, Mary.
The last game on Sunday is at Sunshine Coast Stadium. It's a Sea Eagles Saturday. It's a Sea Eagles versus the Eels. Set of Rants will be back next week, guys.
So good.
Yeah, and we have been watching your conversations happening on the screen. It's we're not ignoring you. Yeah, we do see everything that's being discussed, and Sea Eagles have lost Taniela Paseka to an ankle injury and Toffoli to suspension. Josh Aloiai comes into the starting side. Kurt Sirinen and Kurt DeLuise are the players named on the bench. For the Eels, Hayes Dunster dropped after a pathetic game last week on the wing.
Yeah.
And journeyman,
Michael
NRL
Oldfield.
journeyman Michael Oldfield. Yeah,
He has been around, hasn't he? Michael Oldfield,
Yep.
he's racking up the clubs, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Reid Marnie out for the rest of the season with that shoulder injury brings Joey Lussick in at hooker. Orican Kafusi out due to HIA protocols. He was another one. He was knocked out the first tackle of the game.
That's
on the
right.
Weekend.
Yeah, first tackle.
Team Wolf Isaiah Papali'i moves to the front row with Sean Fisheyes Lane moving into the starting side in the back row, and Makaheshi Makatoa, the new face on the Eels bench. I think the Eels are a team under immense pressure. Look to have no answers. I expect them to struggle again in this game against a red-hot Sea Eagles side. Tommy Turbo to be at unstoppable best. Reid Marnie is a massive loss for them in the middle of the field. His defence in that middle third. I reckon Manly will get up 13 plus.
Can't argue with that, mate. Manly are hot to trot in this one for sure.
Yep.
Sunday's games, moving along to Moreton Daily Stadium, the double header at Redcliffe there. Starting off our game against the Bulldogs. And for us, as we said, Adam Pompey named in the centres in place of young Viliami Valera. Matt Lodge out for 2 weeks. His Warriors debut in the front row. Origami Evans suspended. JTB coming on the interchange bench. And Chad Townsend waiting and both named on the extended bench there, as we said. And for the Bulldogs, Coach Trent Barrett has made no changes to the Bulldogs backline. Ryan James and Corey Horsburgh, interestingly, on loan from the Canberra Raiders and have been named. James in the front row and Horsburgh in the second row in cover for Dylan Napa and Wild Man Jack Hetherington, both out suspended.
Yep.
Look, I'm really got my fingers crossed here for a breakout performance, but hey, you know what I'm going to say. Warriors by 4 in a close one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I was reading some clueless fans on Warriors fan threads again, saying that Ricky Stewart had released Ryan James and Corey Horsburgh to the Bulldogs in an effort to stop the Warriors from winning, so that we can't challenge the Raiders for a spot in the playoffs. If Ricky had that in mind, if Ricky had that in mind, he wouldn't be sending Ryan James and Corey Horsburgh. He'd be sending better players than those two. I think that the Warriors are up for a big one this week. And I can see a 13+ win for the Warriors, and we'll need it. There's a couple of comments.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Ciala says, if we make the finals, I hope we play the Eels. Bro, if we make the finals, it'll be in 8th, which means that we'll be playing either Manly or the Roosters, because it's one of those two teams that'll finish in 5th, I reckon. So I think where we finish, if we finish 7th, we'd be playing Para. But I think based on how the table's looking at the moment, and it's a big if, we make
massive
the 8th,
if, guys. Yeah,
it'll be in 8th spot, and we'll play the Roosters or the Sea Eagles. Yeah. What do you think, mate? You said 1 to 4, did you?
Mate, I can see us hanging on for a very nervous win again. 2-4 points, mate. Yeah. I'm gonna be pacing while I'm watching with you guys, pacing in spirit.
Yep. And the final game of the round sees the Sharks versus the Knights at Moreton Daily Stadium. For the Sharks, the mega grub Will Chambers has been dropped for his unprofessionalism. Talakai named in the centres. Jack Williams comes into the starting side. Billy Margulis is a new man named on the bench. For the Knights, only 2 changes to the Knights 17, with Lachlan Fitzgibbon out with a shoulder injury. So Connor Watson moves to starting 13, forcing Mitch Barnett edge back row. And Nathaniel Sasagi named on the bench. And Jaden Brayley also returns this week from a week on the sideline through concussion protocols. I expect the Knights to put the Sharks to the sword. As I said before, they've got their first choice spine, Ponga, Clifford, Pearce, and Brayley, all playing for only one game this season. And I think the experience of Pearce will just get the Sharks home comfortably. Sharks without any creativity, as I said. Evidence from their inability to put the Warriors away last week when they had us down to 12 men for 20 minutes. I think the Knights will win. I think it'll be 13 plus, but maybe 14 to 16 points.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. yeah, the Sharks are looking a little bit toothless without Sean Johnson there guiding them around as well. So yeah, I think the Knights, as you said, Ponga in good form. That they'll be starting. They're looking like they're starting to click. So I think it'll be a big win. Big win to the Knights, 13+ as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, mate, that brings us to upcoming games. So crowds now back allowed at 50% capacity, I think.
50% capacity. So at the Redcliffe Stadium, which is a very small stadium to begin with, if you guys are hoping to go there, I hope you've already got your tickets, because if that's operating, it'll be a huge crowd out there. But it's good to see that we do have an opportunity to go back and support the boys. So,
Mate,
yeah,
Mark Roberts has just thrown up a topic for the set of rants next week. I'm just going to write it down in my set of rants.
I saw that at the same time as you did, I think, as well. Yeah,
that is a great one to talk about. Lone players.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Especially this late in the season as well. 4 weeks to go.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
especially for a club that has no chance of playing finals footy.
Yeah,
that's where it gets me. Lone
as
player
we
said,
as we said earlier, we live watch events for all the Warriors games. So this week will be Arpai from Hold the Ball.
Yep.
For our watch party. So we're looking forward to that. He'll be joining us for a live, authentic reaction to that match. And as we said, if anyone is keen to be involved in any of our live chats, send us a message and we'll try to organise something for any of the upcoming rounds. So obviously round 22 versus the Bulldogs at Redcliffe. Round 23, look, I'm really hoping to be at this game, Suncorp against the Broncos. That will be the 4 o'clock game the following week. Round 24 against the Raiders. Venues to be confirmed. So we don't know. Well, we do know, actually, sorry, the final round 25, will be at Seabus Super Stadium against the Gold Coast. I'll also be heading to that game as well. So we know. Yeah.
I've got a ticket.
You'd hope to be there. So you never know. We may have some spare tickets floating around for that game, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry, I'm just reading some what Ciala's posted here. You keep talking.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so we're going to be doing any of those games. I'm not sure if Hammer will be doing a live feed on the games that I'll be going to, but yeah, definitely Bulldogs this weekend, and then we'll be doing it against the Raiders in round 24. So yeah, just contact us to express your interest, and we'll make something happen. We've got some great live chats coming up. Yeah.
Just before we get onto that, I was just going to say, when you're at these games, I will definitely do a live reaction. We'll keep that going for the rest of the year because, there's a lot of us that are still in lockdown and we'll try and get some of the we really want to try and get some of our New Zealand-based fans on a live watch party with us. If we can, that'd be great. But yeah, mate, you're going to go into the upcoming live chats?
Well, that's it. Well, there's one this Saturday. It's very special time, 9 a.m. this Saturday morning. That's 9 a.m. Australian time. Very, very special guest. Warriors royalty. We're joined by Little General himself, Stacey Jones. So mark that in your diaries, your calendars, your iPhones, whatever, because you won't want to miss it. 9 a.m. We've got 1 hour with Stacey Jones. And, obviously the greatest warrior of all time. And we're really looking forward to hearing all about his journey with the club from the early days, from 95 through to 2002, leaving the club, coming back to the club. It's going to be such a. I'm just really looking forward to this chat. So excited, like a kid at Christmas.
It's one of those ones that it was. He's such a very shy and personal. Person. He doesn't do social media. He's very private in that respect. So getting him is a massive coup. And, so we're very thankful to the Mad Butcher who got us in touch with Stace. And obviously Stacey himself who agreed to come on. It's quite surreal when you get a phone call from a New Zealand number and you answer it and their voice at the other end is hey mate, it's Stacey Jones here, and you kind of
who is it? Who is it really?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, so we've got
Yeah.
1 hour due to Stacey's working commitments on Saturday. We only have 1 hour. So if you do have any questions, we strongly encourage you to get those questions sent in, because we won't be taking any live questions just because of the time constraints.
Yep.
So please, if you do have any questions himself, please send them in to us beforehand, and we'll make sure that they get asked.
Yeah, absolutely. Just with that, there is on the Facebook page, there is an event that you can subscribe to. Clicker's going. It'll pop up with a reminder on Saturday morning when we go live, so you don't miss the broadcast, because it is a weird time, we understand, but it's the only time that Stacey was available, and we just
for the great man, we work around his schedule. We make no apologies for that as well.
Absolutely, and we didn't want to do it pre-recorded and then play it later. We did want to put it live so that people can watch it. So where do you guys rate? Where do you guys rate Stacey Jones in terms of rugby league players that you've seen play in your lifetime? Mate, Stacey's up there. That I've seen play in my lifetime. So in terms of Warriors, he's definitely part of my Mount Rushmore. The four greatest Warriors players I'd ever seen play. It's a difficult one, because I've seen a lot of great players play, but Stacey's definitely in my probably top 5 players that I've ever seen play the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, in terms of Warriors, he's easily the GOAT. No, he's easily the greatest Warrior of all time. His sheer influence on the club and the way that he guided us through that 2002 season, he was in sublime form. And he stuck through a lot of tough years as well at the club, and his performance has never dipped.
Yeah,
and he's an absolute champion bloke.
Look, if Stacey had gone to another club, he would have won a premiership. Easy. It's just,
and he came close to leading us to one as well, which is a real testament to the player. And then, in terms of halfbacks, he's definitely, I would say, in the top 10 halfbacks of all time.
Sean James, we'll ask him if he can name his all-time Warriors 17 for you, mate. Don't know how we'll go, but we'll go. Speaking of which, how is lockdown going for you, Hammer? Do you have a Warriors mask? I've got 2 Warriors masks, and I've got a heap of other ones as well. So, going all right. Beard's growing, 7-week beard growth. I'm starting to look like James Tarmo. So,
after the great man, we've got favourite of the show, Georgia Hale, will be on for a chat to talk all things NRLW. Competition that will be kicking off after the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in October. They go into pre-season at the end of August. So we plan to get her on just before their first game. Her and Karina Brown as well will be joining us.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a couple of former Warriors coming on as well. We've got Brent Tate lined up, and also PJ Marsh, who played that fantastic 2002 season. Unfortunately, his Warriors career was cut short, but we're due to that spinal injury that he received in that tackle. But we're really looking forward to chatting to him. He's been a fan favourite over the years, and he had a fantastic career. Played State of Origin as well. Yep. Another big one after that. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say we've also got Ben Murdoch-Masila, who's agreed to come on and have a chat with us. And the big one that you were going to announce, the man that was my favourite player growing up at the North Sydney Bears. He did go on to coach the Warriors, and that's the great Mark Graham himself, the first Kiwi ever inducted into the Rugby League Hall of Fame. Contacted Mark during the week, and he's agreed to come on, which is great. And then after the season, we're looking to do like a legend series where we can get some people on that aren't Warriors related or affiliated. And the 2 names that have come back to us so far that have agreed to come on, one is Andy Raymond, who's going to come on and chat about his career as a rugby league broadcaster. And the great Paul Sirinen has got back to me yesterday and said he's keen to come on for a chat. So
got a connection with the club now as well, as we know, with Bailey and the team. So it'd be great to hear his thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know if there's any of the greats from the past that you'd like us to try and get in contact with, get them on for a bit of a chat. As in our Legend series, it'll carry us through to the end of the year once the season finishes. But yeah, it's exciting, mate. Again, it's one of those things where we're very fortunate to be able to have a avenue where we can bring these kind of live chats to people, and people can hear the stories from the players from their own mouths.
Yeah, that's it. It's amazing for us as it is for you guys to be able to chat to the legends of our game and legends of our club, and everyone has a different story. And every time we speak to someone, we get something new out of it, something that we never knew before. And it's always great to add to the legend of these players of the past and the present.
Yeah, absolutely. And Millie's just said, tell us all about the future Patreon content, guys. Okay, well,
now that you mentioned it.
We've signed up to Patreon. So for those that don't know, Patreon is a membership subscription platform that enables people to show their support of us and our content by signing up to a subscription. Excuse me. So it's a platform where we set up different tier levels of subscriptions that suit your budget, and each tier level will have its own rewards and benefits. Including exclusive Patreon-only merchandise that we will have available soon. So at the moment, we've only got the one tier level set up, which is a bronze level subscription. It's at the least amount possible that Patreon lets you set up at, which is $3, and it's just basically a $3 subscription to follow us and show your support. So for a cup of coffee, a $3 a month is nothing, and it just helps offset some of the costs involved with running the show for you guys. And as time goes on, we'll set up more levels: silver, gold, platinum level, which will have other things available to those subscribers. So as I said, such as merchandise and opportunities to do stuff with us and shout outs from the Warriors and etc. So you can go to the Patreon.
That's it. Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, there's plenty more information coming about this. We'll be releasing different tiers as well, and as Mark said, there'll be different perks for each level and stuff that you guys will definitely want to be involved in. Yeah. So stay tuned.
And we have got a range of merch that's coming out soon, which people will be able to purchase from our merch supplier. But the stuff that we do for Patreon subscribers will be exclusive to Patreon subscribers only. So you subscribe and you get, a gift from us, which could be, an exclusive shirt or something like that. So we'll $3 a month.
Lots of exciting things coming. Yeah, we've got some great stuff.
Position on the show. Yes, it will. It will. We just want to shout out too, because we only set this up this afternoon, and we've already got 2 subscribers. I know it doesn't sound a lot, but we just want to give a shout out to them, which is something that we're going to do with all our Patreons every week. We're going to recognize our patrons by giving them a shout out on the show and a weekly thank you on our social media platforms. So Daniel Delore and Peregrine Falconer are our first 2 Patreons, bronze level Patreons. So we thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate your support and getting behind us.
$3 a month is not much. There's a couple of people that I'm patron on the Patreon platform. A couple of different YouTubers and guys like that. Clarkey is one that I'm a Patreon of. So yeah, it's a great thing. We really appreciate it. And wait on.
Yeah, and if subscription services are not your thing and you still would like to support us in some way, then you can make a donation if you'd like via PayPal on the Roo and Hammer PayPal page, and also we have a Pay ID set up. So for both of those, our ID is rooandhammer@gmail.com. So that's our PayPal ID is rooandhammer@gmail.com, and and also the Pay ID.
just remember,
it's embedded in the chat as well.
Yeah, and I mean it's not something that you have to do. We're not saying pay us for our content. It's just, if you want to support us and show your support, it's just a way that you can do that. And
as we said, it does help offset our costs with the costs that we do have with licensing and that kind of thing and running the show.
Yep, absolutely. So Sean Kurzweil's just subscribed to Patreon as well. So as a bronze
Sean Star, salute, legend. Thank you, sir.
Thank you to Sean. I've just got that notification through, so appreciate that, bro.
Really appreciate that, mate. Yeah. Champion.
And just remember, guys, if you miss our live shows, you can always catch up. Go to our video section on the Facebook page, or go to our YouTube channel.
YouTube, we're simulcasting to YouTube and Facebook these days through this new exciting platform that we've got here. So you can always catch us up on either one of those. Yep. Podcast platforms as well. We know podcasts are really, really popular these days. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, Radio Direct, and iHeartRadio. We're available on all of those podcast platforms, so there's no excuse to miss out.
Absolutely. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well. Instagram's going to be where we do all the shout outs for our Patreons and so forth. It's the easiest form for us to quickly advertise stuff. It does links book, but if we can get our subscribership up on Instagram as well, it goes towards helping us as well. So thanks guys for tuning in for another episode of Roo and Hammer. We
Thank
really
you so much.
it. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. Well, we probably would. No one,
We'd just be rambling onto ourselves, probably. Just like we're just the two old men from the Muppets,
exactly right. Thanks everyone for joining us. For those around Australia who are dealing with this COVID stuff, stay safe, be vigilant.
Take care, look after
be
yourselves.
Accepting of everyone's point of view on this as well. If you're going out to get the jab, congratulations, well done. If you're choosing not to do it, that's on you too. There's no judgment from either of us in regards to what you want to do. It's a personal choice for people. And we just ask that everyone be respectful of everyone's point of view in regards to this. I've always wanted to know who designed the Roo and Hammer logo. It's awesome. I don't know.
We have a special contact who has designed that for us. I think we might need to give another shout out to the Philippines. It's a contact of my lovely wife and Roo and Hammer media creative manager Cleo organised that one for us. So I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right, guys, everyone stay safe. Have a good weekend. If you want to be involved in a live watch with us, definitely, I'll tell you what, Millie, when we have the Canberra game, Millie's got to be involved.
Yes,
in the
we'll have to. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be great. That'll be some great banter.
Everyone stay safe and be sure you tune in on West Sunday game.
Don't forget. Yeah, Sunday game. Don't forget 9 a.m. on Saturday as well for the Little General.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much, guys. You all take care.
Good night.
Talk to you soon.